and welcome to the close of BBL auction review and the SAT20 auction preview. We are coming to you with not one but two really interesting agendas today. We're going to be discussing the BBL auction that you all tuned in for a couple of weeks ago, where Al and Prasanna both own teams and put together a feisty and competitive how the first hi Al, hi Prasanna. We're also being joined by Johns today. How's everyone
Yeah.
doing?
Hi, Soumya. Hi, Johns.
Hi. Hi guys, how are you guys doing?
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Johns. And let's get rolling with the BBL auction review. Can we have someone share the points table?
I'll do that.
Interestingly, when Al and I did the preview for this auction, he had mentioned that Team AMG is the likeliest to be at the top of the table, and it's not quite true. Al and his team is actually at the top of the table at the halfway mark of the Big Bash, but AMG is not too far behind. They are at second place.
Can you see that?
So yes.
Hmm.
Yes, so Al had mentioned that he thinks that AMG would be topping the table at this point. They're not too close to Al and Silly Point's team, which is at 78.50 at the moment.
Yeah.
Prasanna's team is on fourth place at 5186. There's Ritam on in third place at 5479. Praveen Kumar with 4528, followed by Vijesh with 4432. Vikrant with 4321, and Abhinav with 4078. So there's a lot of variability in how the teams stack up, and I think that's also true of the BBL, right? Does anyone want to talk about how the season has been?
I think I'll start off first. I've seen a lot more help for bowlers than I expected there to be. For example, even the usually good venues like Hobart has had games where both teams have been all out for 120. So that has sort of had an impact on the scoring system so far. You can see a lot of bowlers leading the list. There is not a single batter who has crossed 1,000 points, but I think you'll be able to see at least 3 to 4 bowlers who have crossed the 1,000 point mark. But I think it's starting to change. You could see you could have noticed a high scoring game today, and the Junction Oval with venues like Junction Oval and Albury coming into play. Batsmen are starting to step up. Hales is at 920 points, I guess. Lynn touched 800, 770 today, and Ollie Davis is at something like 800 too. So batsmen are starting to step up. I think that's going to have an impact in the next 10 to 15 games, where teams with quality batters could come up the order.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about players beginning to step up, we've seen Marcus Stoinis step up a lot too. Because I remember a few days ago when I was looking at this the points table, his total points were in negative, and all of a sudden he has made it to positive. He's inching closer to 100, although he was at negative 100 a couple of days ago. So does anyone want to talk about Marcus Stoinis in the case of big ticket players or players who we associate with consistency in the BBL and how they have performed this season?
So yeah,
I,
I'll
I-
take it about them.
yeah, go ahead, Prasanna. Yeah.
Sorry, it's been one of the stories where I wanted to pick him before the auction, and wanted once Maxwell was injured too, I thought like he'll do a bulk of bowling, and I went all in with for 38 lakhs, I think, something around that, and he scored the first duck. I thought it was due to COVID. The first ball he went after, and then the next duck followed, and then he was benched, and then another low score, and he was around minus 127 after 4 matches. It was like a heartbreak for me, and thankfully, he scored a good 76 or odd something last match. But the only problem with him is see, Al's scoring system is in such a way that he punishes junk, and it's huge time that when he comes on to bowl, he gives away a lot of runs, and that's really punishing me. Anyway, I hope he picks up some wickets also in the further matches, but his batting is what I'm looking out for.
Yeah, and I think you're screen sharing the melon screen on the
Mm-mm.
like.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, this up. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. With Marcus Stoinis, it's been a very interesting case, and the way the scoring system is constructed, it definitely really doubles down on all the junk. And so scores of 0 or 7 and 10 at a low strike rate are not going to be rewarded. But it has really helped AMG and Silly Point Mourinho, because even though AMG is not quite first as Al had predicted, the player with the highest points, who was in the context of the auction quite a steal, is still with AMG, because they have Akil Hussain, who's recorded the highest points in the auction so far with around 1486, and he was only sold for about 14. So he's providing a good return as well in terms of the ratio of the points he has returned in exchange for the money invested into him. And as Al mentioned already, the bowlers have actually ranked higher. So, what do you all think is going to be a noticeable trend in the second half of the BBL? Like, what do you all think is like what are you all looking forward to over the next few weeks?
Stan is bowling a lot more and giving more negative points to Prasanna. So that
Um,
see the problem with players like Stoinis and Dashishat in this scoring system is the points that they get through batting, they'll be reducing it themselves when they start to bowl more. So that's how the scoring system has been designed, and that's one thing that has worked against the likes of Stoinis and Shot. I don't think Shot has yet entered positive points today. Maybe it might have changed
no,
today.
no, no,
And he isn't. Okay,
no. He's still in minus
that's
39.
that's a win for my scoring system, I'd say. And if going ahead, I think with the players like Akil Hussain leaving and Mujibur Rahman leaving, I think a lot of things are going to change. This is something particularly for my team, the way my team was set up, I had four players, I think, four big players who would be leaving after the first 10 games. So I needed this lead. This is not a lead that I'd say is comfortable for me, but it's safe enough, I think. If the lead goes to 2000 and 2500, that's when I'd start feeling comfortable.
That's exactly the point I was going to bring. See, like now in the next 10 days, people will be leaving for the players will be leaving for both the ITL and the SAT20. And if you see Al's team, he has like Vince, Hales, and another two. I'm not sure who are going to leave. And those have been even Chris Lynn, I think, is going to leave. So that's going to affect the point system. And for me, hopefully, the ones who are in negative, Short and Renshaw, come to positive and Stone's get some runs. Because I am not like pretty sure how still Short is in minus 39, man. That's killing me.
As Al mentioned, it's a win for his scoring system if
Yeah,
Shot
yeah.
hasn't made it to 100 points yet. I was actually about to talk a little bit about the points, the points that some of your players have scored. And as you mentioned, Mujib and Alex Hales and Vince all leaving. In the list of the top players so far, Al, you have like four very important players in there. You have Hayden Kerr, who you spent 48 on, and that was the highest bid that was the highest bid among all the players that were auctioned. And then you also have Mujib and Alex Hales, who in exchange for just 12 and 17 lakhs have actually returned really good points for you. They have returned 928 and 925 points respectively. And then you have Chris Green, who in exchange for 18 lakhs has brought back 812 points. Of these, most are not going to be available to you in second half of the season. So, what are your hopes hinged on?
I think it's a good time for someone like Khalid Jewell and Matthew Gills to get into form. So I think the star players leaving coincides with these players who have been underperforming so far, starting to play to their potential. So that's something that I'm expecting to compensate for the loss of them. And I think if you look at my team, that is something I've always the one reason that I took Chris Green was that he's going to give me a lot of economic points, which is something he has been doing. Unfortunately, Sydney's home deck showground has been it's worse than it usually is. So that's something that
Hmm.
whenever Chris Green plays at showground, he's going to easily give me 200 points. So these are the kind of things that I'm banking on. And for Hayden Kerr to play more on Sydney type decks and not on Brisbane type decks, if he plays more on Brisbane, he'll give me a minus 150 every day. So that's not something I'm looking forward to. Basically, I want it to be bowling friendly as the tournament progresses on, so that Green and Kerr alone can win the tournament for me.
Yeah, otherwise your scoring system will end up working against you itself.
Yeah.
So So we need to make sure that that begins to happen. But talking about the scoring system and the auction, Johns, I had a question for you. What do you think about this format? Like, have you found it exciting, the format of the auction and the scoring system that Al has put together for the BPL?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to.
Go ahead, Jones. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm really looking forward to it. Especially, I didn't play it Big Bash mainly because I haven't followed much. And coming to
Yeah, you can
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I think we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Hmm.
I mainly prefer to play SAT20 because it has IPL connections, and there are few players who will be eagerly I'm looking forward to as well. From most of the bigger stars will be part of that group. Compared to Big Bash, I haven't followed much Big Bash this season. There were lots of international games happening. Then score system, I think it was really good. There has been lots of appreciation. I have seen the comments as well from who are part of the league and who have followed this scoring system as well. So I'm really looking forward to see how it progresses in SA T20 league in January.
Yeah, that's a really good time to bring about the SA20, and we will obviously discuss it at a later stage in the show. But Al, do you just want to give an overview of the two different kinds of like competitions that we're offering for the SA20?
Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead with that. So the thing is, what we are going to do is we've got a lot more interest, obviously, with the first one becoming such a bit with 10K people following the auction. That's for BBL. If you think of it, imagine what's in store for IPL, and they have bigger plans as well. So the thing is, we are introducing an auction draft as well this time. So it's like draft is a fantasy format that's been followed in pretty much every other league. Only in IPL you would find auction. Every other, most of the other leagues follow draft format, and that's something that we're going to bring into play from this tournament. The main difference I'd say is auction is where you'd measure a player on basically two axes. You'd say like you'd measure him both on skill set and the rate. On draft, on the other hand, you'll just measure a player on his skill set, because when your turn comes, no one is going to compete with you on that player. You'll just have to select the player. It's a lot more simple. I'd say it's also a lot more easier for those who understand cricket. You do not need to understand a lot else. Other than that, you do not need to understand a lot more things. But for auction, you'll need to understand how to manage budget. But the key is auction is also a lot more exciting than draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the SA20 coming up is going to be, as Al mentioned, split into auction and draft. So there will be there'll be a lot more excitement, and with just six teams coming in, like there's also a lot more opportunity for you to engage very closely as a team owner in the auction or draft. So we're really looking forward to a lot of you joining in and following us for that as well. But pulling it back to the BBL again for a moment. I noticed, as I mentioned already earlier, that Al, you spent 48 lakhs on Hayden Kerr, and
Mhm.
that is 8 lakhs more than the next most expensive player. I wanted to try to pick your brains a little bit about your rationale behind that pick, because again, not a very prominent name in the scene, has been good in the BBL, but what compelled you to invest 48 lakhs, which is such a huge sum of your budget, on a player like Hayden Kerr?
Basically, I think that was my last pick. That was one of the biggest reasons for me going crazy on him. The second is that there are only two star players. For example, before going into every auction, I'd have 10 to 12 picks lined up as my potential captaincy and vice captaincy picks. I mean, even though our format doesn't have 2x or 1.5x points, having these players categorized that way would help you. For example, healthcare has been making a lot of difference to my fantasy league this year. The reason that I went ahead with 48 lakhs is because I had two options basically at that point: Hayden Care and Hatsoglu. Hatsoglu, and with Perth as a home deck, I didn't want to put a lot of my money on him. So basically, tried my luck at it, and 48. There was someone who had more money than me at that point, I guess, but maybe they played it safe and they let me take away Hayden Care. So the reason why I went for him, because it's basically all round value one and home deck SCG. It's a deck where you could, and it's also the attack that he's bowling with. It's a good attack. It's one of the favorite teams, so he's going to get a lot more chances to dominate dominate the match, and in which case you're going to get a lot of runs, a lot of easy economic points. That was one of the reasons. And his batting has also improved. He ended last season with a 93 or a 98, I guess, and he was his profile has basically been rising. So that's something that I was hoping to cash in on, and his batting has also been good this season.
Yeah, that's accurate, because despite you spending 48 lakhs on him, he has still returned with he still has fared really well for you, and he is inching closer to the 1,000 point mark already, with still like half a season to go. So that's really exciting. And I wanted to Prasanna, ask you a little bit about your auction strategy, because I see that you have a lot of all-rounders in your team. Like, you have Stoinis, you have Daniel Sams. What was your thinking? Like, was that a conscious decision that you made with the scoring system in mind to invest your money on all-rounders?
Yeah, mostly I wanted to pick on the bowlers and the all-rounders, so that they give an all-round value. But Al warned me about Dakari shot, but I didn't listen to him. So maybe I should listen to him for the SAT20 more, because I remember having a discussion with him saying that shot is a good value for money if I go for him. And he was telling his bowling has been degrading for the last 3 seasons and you watch out for it. But then I went for him, and I think it's been a tough one. But then I always wanted two of either Jason or Ty or Jail, because I had faith that two of them will fare well in the Perth surface, and luckily they are the ones who are keeping me in the game in fourth. And what I am really looking forward is like Akil Hussain to go away for Sriram, and I can catch the of a top two a bit. But the team to look out for, I think, is Rhythm, because I think his team comes into play now with almost everyone playing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. With a large chunk of the BBL still left, which teams do you all think have the ability to catch up or overtake, like what Al and AMG have put together so far?
I'm looking at the squad now. Since Prasanna has talked about Rhythm, it does sound right, because he seems to have players. The one positive is that I think positive for me is that Gurinder Sandhu and
Yeah,
Steve O'Keefe have been injured,
yeah,
and then I hope Harper plays more, because there is a chance of getting negatives for him. And
yeah.
yeah,
But
that's it.
Warner is coming in. I'll watch out for him.
I think Warner has got 200. He should be tired and he should take rest, I'd say. Prepare
Okay,
for the
I
next
think
international
if he
thing.
plays 3 or 4 matches, he will catch us like 1,000 points. That's what I'm worried about. 600 points, sure, for Warner. He might go crazy.
I think the one positive is that I think he has Sean Abbott. I think Abbott is someone who has struggled a lot with this scoring system, and I think he's at basically 250 or 275, I guess, because a lot of his spells are like 1 for 40, 1 for 41, and 1 for 42, or even 2 for 43. These kind of spells get buried in the system. You'll get -100 for conceding 10 runs per over, so that kind of takes away all the good work you do with the wickets.
Yeah, even Dwashias, right? Like that's what happened. He was taken away for runs, but I think there is only one match where he took some 5 wickets. Apart
4
from
for
that,
14, yeah.
yeah, 4 for 14. Apart from that, it's been like mostly negative for him.
Hmm.
Just wishing that they don't turn around the fortunes, because Abbott has been a seasoned BBL player who has been racking in the points each season. So hopefully it continues the way it is, and I can catch him.
So I think for the question that Soumya asked, I think it's basically between the top four now. Now I guess you cannot. I mean, even though that I think the bottom four are out of the picture, irrespective of what happens. I don't think they can catch up. So it's between the top four, and I think Rhythm will come into play as well a lot more going ahead.
And despite the gaps between everyone's points currently, there's still
Hmm.
enough time left for the gaps to be bridged,
Yeah,
and for
that's the
anyone
thing with the scoring system, I guess, because a lead of 700 to 800 would mean nothing. It could change on a single day basis, because a spell of 4 to 20 could give you 250 to 280 points. So imagine if someone has a bad day and the negatives accumulate up, and two of your players score well and get you 600. That's all. I'd go down, Shriram would go up, and this is something that I expect to happen, which is why I'm looking for a 2,500 point lead in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
So
imagine
that's a
Stoin
game.
scoring 100, Somya.
It's gonna be a game of snakes and ladders to the to the finishing point. So, but you spoke about how David Warner is coming back and how batters are gonna become more and more important. Bowlers have already shown how important and like useful and valuable they are. Johns, what is something you're looking forward to over the next few weeks of the BBL?
I think big stars will be coming back. That the series will be coming to an end after 5 days. So the big stars will be, and David Warner is playing after 7 or 8 years as well. So he'll be looking forward to score some huge runs. And ideally, he was going to UAE to play that for the DC team, but everything changed within 1 week within CA and David Warner. So he'll be looking to score, and he has the eye for the captaincy as well. Like we don't know whether Finch will be carrying till 2024. So if he's making an impact, then that will be putting lots of uh, pressure on the selectors as well. So he'll be looking forward to that 2024 T20 World Cup captaincy. So he has lot things to prove, and the India series will be coming as well. So Warner's form will be crucial. So I'm really looking forward to see how Warner goes in this big bash.
Yeah, thank you so much for that comprehensive response. I feel like David Warner coming back and the Australia series coming to an end now, it means that a lot of exciting things are coming up for the Big Bash, and our teams are already out here. You are like it's for everyone to follow. But turning our eyes from one exciting upcoming event to another exciting upcoming event, let's move our attention to SA20. As Al mentioned, we have an auction and a draft, and for all of those who have been following our scoring system and our auction, watching videos like this that we're having, the discussion that we're having right now, might help all of you contestants or everyone who wants to take part in it at some point also help strategize a little better, as you have seen with Prasanna's team and the kind of rationale he had, Al's team, the rationale he had, and now John's also like being so excited about the SAT20. Like, what are you all looking forward to when it comes to the SAT20?
The decks, I guess.
SAT20?
Yeah, go ahead, James.
No, you can.
Yeah, basically the decks, I guess, matches at Johannesburg. That's something that I'm looking forward to a lot. And the build up that they have done to SAT20, I think that has been really good. Also the what I think works for SAT20 better than ILT20 is that in ILT20 some of the IPL franchises are there. Then there are also owners from other sectors, but SAT20 it's basically it has become a mini IPL because all of these franchises are owned by IPL owners. So that has sort of taken away the attention that ILT20 initially had. So if these teams could deliver on the field, imagine what it could become in the future.
Yeah, what about you, Prasanna?
I think SAT20 is clearly going to be the second best tournament in the world after IPL. So there is no doubt about it. And with the Indian franchises taking over, right, it's going to bring in, I think, a whole ecosystem where a player represents the franchisee in multiple formats, and clear bonding between the franchisee and the player is going to form, where he'll be playing in both IPL and SAT20, and it's going to reflect pretty much in the player having a whole new dimension to his game.
And how different, if at all, is the scoring system for the SA20 from the scoring system for the BBL?
I think we are going to the one change that has so far been confirmed is improving the bonus points for sixes. Currently, if someone hits a six, the bonus point is six. That is plus 6 runs plus six. Now it's going to go up to 10. So every time a batter hits a six, it's going to be 16 points for the team that's holding him. So someone who hits a lot of sixes, I think someone like Stubbs, Brevis, and they're all going to be in high demand, I guess.
Yeah, and on South African pitches, it is quite likely that we'll get to see a lot of sixes being hit almost every single day. So that makes for a very exciting addition to the already very meaty scoring system. Johns, what about you? What is one thing which you're looking forward to when it comes to this auction?
uh, I think how these young South African players going to be sold out, mainly because if you looked at last 2 3 years, the rise of South African cricket has been great. The youngsters coming through the ranks. If you have seen the IPL franchises has taken some of the youngsters from South Africa, then different leagues as well. So it will be one thing which I'm really looking forward to see how these youngsters from South Africa, and if you have looked the CSA T20 challenge as well. There has been lots of youngsters who has come to the ranks in the last season. We have seen how well they have performed, etc. So I'm looking forward to see how they are solved, or how will be their expectation through this SAT20 league.
And Al, do you think that team owners for our upcoming auction will emphasize on these younger players a lot? And if yes, considering that a lot of these players have had very limited experience, what kind of insights will they go by when they decide whether to buy them or not?
I think Kawasaki will come to their rescue again. The packs that we have been planning for the launch, they'll be launched in a couple of days. So we have again gone crazy the way that we did with PBL. The research has been tremendous. I've seen the venue packs already. That gives a lot of details. I mean, that's something that I've for a long time I've been trying to bring it into the auction systems and process that I have to pick players based on their home grounds. For example, if someone is going to play 7 matches at a venue, you're going to, for example, if a bowler is playing on pick bowlers from teams that play on bowling friendly decks. At least 7 of their matches on bowling friendly decks. So these are the kind of things that is going to be crucial in the auction, and Kawasoft's packs will help in understanding for owners and for viewers as well, to understand what kind of performances that we can expect.
Yeah, that's great. Talking a little bit more about the teams involved in the SA20, the franchises that are all like the 6 franchises which will be playing the like right from the, My Emirates to Joburg Super Kings. Joburg Super Kings it is, right? Like there's 6 teams all owned by IPL franchises. We've seen a connection between some of the franchises, IPL players as well as their players in the SA20. Which are the couple of teams which are like, excited to follow through the course of the SA20?
I'll let Prasanna take over because at this point I have absolutely no idea of the teams, and I'm just going to get into the research mode in the next couple of days.
Yeah, Mumbai Cape Town stand out. Like there is no question about it. With Jofra Archer and Sam Curran, Rashid and Livingston there, they are going to be the most exciting team in the uh, auction and in the matches which are going to be played. And then
Which
the
team
next,
was Harry Brook with?
Harry
This
Brook was with Joburg,
Super
but
Kings.
he has withdrawn. And I am not sure, like if you saw the uh, interview with Ashwin, where Prasanna told he had no clue on who the replacement player is even going to be. So that's a big blow for the Joburg Super
I
Kings.
saw the news. That's why I asked.
So that's going to be huge because see, he's one player who could have clearly changed the way the matches go in Johannesburg, considering it averages around 12 sixes per match or 13 sixes per match. So he was someone who I think was the only one who had that ability in their whole lineup, because the rest were like Faf and they are talking big things about Donovan Ferreira, but I think he's going to come down the order, and I don't think Romario Shepherd is still there yet to do it. So they will be like mostly relying on Hendricks and Malan, but I don't think they're going to make the cut. But
John's
I think, yeah, I think the ones I am going to look out for is Mumbai, Cape Town, and Pal Royals. They have Butler and Roy in their
Miller.
lineup. Yeah, Miller also. Yeah, like
Miller.
John, you seem to have done the research already.
No, main players only. Like they have always given sponsorship, like Miller and Butler. Then there is Roy Morgan is there as well, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ian
Roy
Morgan is there,
Morgan.
but I didn't less because I think he has taken a back seat, so I didn't mention him. But he's still a pretty good player to have with this knowledge on how to lead a side, and he can be of great help to that team. So what I
Yeah,
feel.
the 2 teams that I'm looking forward to
And they
following.
also have,
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
sorry,
sorry. No,
yeah,
no,
they
sorry.
also have Shamsi like in their lineup, so that's a pretty good lineup to have.
Yeah, Pal Royals and My Emirates are the 2 teams. My Cape Town are the 2 teams that even I'm most looking forward to following in the SA20 because, as you said, there's Butler, Roy, Dane Villas, David Miller, Morgan, Corbin Bosch, who Rajasthan Royals also had in the IPL briefly last season. They have Fortune, Felukwayo, McCoy, Ngidi. So they seem to have like a lot of
Yeah.
star power. Johns, what about you? What are the teams and the players that you are going to be looking out for?
I think the same. Both the Royals and Mumbai They are the two stronger sides. And I think Archer's availability, I believe he will be playing only 2 or 3 games. He won't be available for the whole season. I believe some workload management is there. So Archer won't be available for more than 2 or 3 games. There was some news before 1 month. Even he was picked by that player draft something. There one extra player can be picked after the auction section. So I think MI and Royals are the two strongest sides. And if you look at the mix as well, like most of the players are part of this IPL franchise. Sunrisers had Makram as the captain in the SAT20 league. Then Decock is there for now franchisee in SAT20. So most of them are really connected through the IPL franchisee to SAT20 league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was telling. Like, I think they are going to form an ecosystem where one particular franchisee owns the same player across multiple leagues, and that's going to create a stronger bond between the teams. And if they have the same analysts who are going to working with them, it's going to make a real difference.
Wait a
Like if
second.
you look at Russell as well.
Sunrisers have Markram as their captain in the SAT20 league.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
then interesting. Then there's a good chance that he's also going to become their IPL captain as well.
IPL captain. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
That's
even if you
also
look at Russell as well, like Russell is playing for Kolkata franchise in UAE, in West Indies, in India. Then I believe he might be playing in America as well, that MLC league. So almost 12 months of IPL contract with KKR franchise.
Right.
Yeah, that's an ecosystem which is very exciting to think about. But given how, at least, like, if you just look at like my Cape Town, for example, they have like most of their players who make the playing 11. It's a mix of players who play for Mumbai and players who don't play for Mumbai in the IPL. So how long it's going to take for the ecosystem to come into place, it's something which we'll have to wait and watch. But Al, closing thoughts on the SA20 from the covers off point of view. What is something which you want everyone to keep in mind or want everyone to know?
I think the packs are going to be sent out in a couple of days. We'll start sending out. The venue packs are ready. The team packs, I'm just going to get into a 48-hour no sleep thing. So that's going to be ready as well. And I have a lot of auctions coming up as well in addition to this. So if I go into this with guys like Sriram and Arpit, they'll bury me without. So I'll have to start doing my research, and that research is going to help a lot of people as well. In a way that these are the points that are going to go into our packs, and there's a lot of excitement surrounding it. The people have already started asking about when are these packs going to get released. And I think we'll send out the venue pack in a day or two because it's already ready, and the team packs will be sent out in 2 to 3 days because there's a lot of less work as compared to BBL because there is no history to work with. If you look at it, some of the sheets that we had are not going to apply to this. It's a lot more simpler. The key is in understanding all of the younger players, as we have been telling throughout the show. The key is in understanding where they are likely to play, how their fantasy value is, the fantasy ranking order sheet that we had in the BBL packs. They have been
Yeah.
in real high demand, and there are people who have invested in a number of platforms where they can hold players over a period of time. So they've what they've done is taken the players in the top three in our fantasy or ranking order, and they've just put a lot of money on them, and they're all
Yeah.
doing well. So that's something that's in a lot of demand at the moment.
Exactly. And as you can sense from Al's tone, we're only getting bigger and better with each passing league. SA20 is only the beginning. Just imagine how it's going to be by the time the IPL comes about. It's going to be a chaos. So while you can subscribe to Covers Off and like get all of your packs in place on time because you don't know when it's going to become challenging to get your hands on these. So thank you so much to John, Al, and Prasanna for joining us. It was great reviewing your progress in the BBL teams. Hope Prasanna you're able to catch up over the next few weeks. I'll hope that your lead also continues to extend. Johns, we're really excited to have you involved with us through the SA20. So thank you to all of you for taking out time to talk, like to discuss these developments, and to all of our viewers. In a few days, we'll be going live with the SA20 auctions as well. So we can't wait for you guys to tune in again and follow as Al, Prasanna, and a lot more people fight it out to make the best possible squad for the SA20. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.